Hello, Richard. Uh, Firstly, I'd like to say that I love your channel. I think you're doing amazing work. I know that you're a very busy man. You get an awful lot of emails from people like myself who have suggestions for you on how to help us fix the world. So I'm just making a little video for you, hopefully as concise as possible, to put some ideas to you, which you can then do with as you please. I'll give you a little background first. Firstly, I bought a property out in Portugal, very cheap, some years ago, about 2.5 years, just after the pandemic. Me and my partner moved out there, and since then we've been fixing up our house and farming. It's a very small village in the mountains, a rural community, and yeah, I've learned a few things while I've been there that I think could be implemented in this country very easily, and would give us a lot of food independence, and also just a lot of independence from any kind of authority or government that wishes to control us. So basically, I've boiled down to 4 points that are things that we could start to do and wouldn't take a whole lot of effort or time to make a huge change in everybody's lives. I'm only back here for a short time. I'm in England at the moment for family reasons. I had to come back here a couple of months ago, and I'll be staying only until the end of this year. Yeah, because I have my own life set up over in Portugal now. But basically, these are 4 points that I think would be solutions to most of the problems that we're facing at the moment. Okay, so the first one is the solution. First solution is to come together locally. We really need to get to know our neighbours and our local community a lot better. We've been trained into isolation. A lot of people do not know those who they live near. They don't speak to their neighbours, and that needs to be remedied. We really need to come together locally. If you can organise some kind of gatherings, maybe once a week, put flyers through people's doors advertising a time and a place to meet. Start small, and hopefully you can get some people out of their houses, out of their isolation, out of the mainstream media brainwashing, and you can give them information about what's going on. You can talk to them about the possible solutions, and that way you bring your community together. I think it's very important that we get a better sense of community, working in our communities. That leads into the second point, which is our use of outdoor space. In Portugal, where I live, at least in the rural areas, and I've seen also in the areas very close to the bigger cities as well, people utilize their outdoor space in a way that we really have failed to do here. It's been trained out of us. Instead of planting flowering trees, you plant fruit trees. Wherever there is dirt, you cultivate vegetables. You're growing vegetables. You have chickens. Chickens take up very little space. From chickens, you have eggs every day. Goats also who that give you milk. They take up very little space too. The areas immediately outside of the cities, which at the moment are just grass-growing fields, basically, could have a few goats on them. People that are more based in a city could travel to these, just outside of the city areas to help people to look after the animals. If the people who own the land are very busy, for example, that way you would get a lot of food independence, a lot of locally sourced, locally grown, locally sourced produce, and we would, become slightly more independent in our food supply. So those are the first 2 points: bringing together the community, and definitely farming, but farming on a small scale, utilizing backyards, utilizing front yards, utilizing any space that we have to grow vegetables, fruit, and keep animals on a non-industrial scale. The third point, wait a minute, I'm just going to turn my page here because I've made a few little points to read from. Pardon me one moment. Yeah, the third point is to start utilizing what they call the dark web, which is, demonizing what it actually is, calling it the dark web. There's nothing dark about it. It's the open internet. Basically I don't know if you know anything much about the dark web, but basically it's just like a VPN. So it's a browser called Tor, which you can download. You can download it for Windows, for Mac, for Linux, for Android, so you can even have it on your phone. And using this web browser basically makes you anonymous, and you can access all of the sites that you access on any other kind of browser. You can look at YouTube, you can look up a recipe, you can go anywhere on the internet. It's really easy and quick to install, and if you use the Tor browser, you're using the dark web. It should be called the free web, but obviously they don't like to advertise it because it gives people anonymity and they can't control what we're seeing. Anything that goes through Google is censored, is basically traceable. So therefore, you are being tracked and traced, and your data is being collected and sold on and whatnot. The way to avoid that is to use the dark web, and it's so simple. So if you could look into maybe doing a video explaining how to use and access the dark web, that is a huge solution. And under the banner of this one, because this is so it's decentralized basically, and the other thing that is decentralized is Bitcoin. I don't know what you know about Bitcoin either, but Bitcoin works on the technology of blockchain. Blockchain is basically a decentralizing system. So it takes, it records transactions and publishes them. That's the basic underlying technology, and those transactions are recorded and published by independent nodes. So somebody with a powerful computer that registers with the Bitcoin network, their computer has a program which publishes those transactions. So it can be anybody that's publishing it, anybody that's a node can publish it, and therefore the information, the record of transactions is all open for anybody to view. It can't be, it's totally transparent, it can't be altered, and that means that you own the currency, you own the Bitcoin, you control the Bitcoin. It cannot be, controlled by anybody, by any government, by any external force. If people all started, the more people that use Bitcoin, the more financial freedom we all have, and the more it can be used to purchase things, anything. So, using Bitcoin, and if you could maybe look into doing a video about explaining blockchain and Bitcoin and how it works, I think that is a huge solution. So yeah, underneath that banner is the dark web and Bitcoin blockchain. Please do videos about those. I think that they're huge solutions and they would be really valuable ideas to get out there. And the last thing that I want to say is just, and I think you probably do this already, but, just continue pushing it as much as possible, is for people to be creative. That's the psychological, that's counteracting the psychological attack that they're making on us, because no doubt it's this fifth generation warfare. It is a psychological attack. They are trying to dumb us down at every turn, and when people are creative, they see the possibility of being able to imagine their own realities. They create something themselves. If they can fix up a chair, maybe they can fix the world. So yeah, that's another thing to get out there. I hope that these things have helped you encourage people to get to know their communities, to grow vegetables in their gardens, to use Bitcoin, to use the dark web, and to take up hobbies, to be creative, to be artistic, to think for themselves, to do something that they've always wanted to do. If they've always wanted to learn to play the piano, now's the time to do that, whatever. So, yes, thank you so much. Please, especially Bitcoin and the dark web, please do videos on them. Thank you so much. Love your stuff, love your channel. You're doing great work. Cheers, Richard. Bye.